Move slow. All right, here we go. All right, Grand Rising. Again, my fellow Eternals, fellow extraterrestrials. Um, Welcome again to another Sunday of the One Great I Am Awakening. I'm Chris Taylor, one of your hosts. And with me is my co-host and brother in spirit and in mind, Sir T.
Yes, it is I. Greetings, good morning, everybody. Welcome to December. Before I forget,
First day.
first day of December. It's my month. It's our time. So
Yeah,
it's a, yeah, man. It's a pleasure. One more time, we've not had any class. What? It's just a week. We missed last week, right, Sir Chris?
we had canceled last week. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're back. We're back on it. This morning, and again, we are sounding the same trumpet. There is no other trumpet to sound. Not here to what is the word? We're not here to debate the obvious, because there's no point, you know, in debating what is obvious. We're just putting out there, pointing out the things that everybody knows to be true, but they have because we have been socialized to believe otherwise, and we've been threatened and compounded with fear. So, if you should ever go against the obvious, we all know people are not idiots. We all know. For example, we all know, say, you don't pray for something and it just magically happen. There's
Mhm.
something happening out there. There's something that caused it to happen, and trust me, it's not because you pray for it. Because you prayed for plenty of things that did not happen. So we know, say, that's not how it works. It's not just like that. There's some work that has to go in beyond it. What them say, faith without works is dead. Well, I'll tell you what. If faith without works is dead, I'll tell you that work without faith is alive, very much alive. If you put in the work, if you truly put in the work, you're not have nothing. Put in the work. When you go to work, don't at the boss job and put in the work. You know, if you have no faith, say, I pay you next week. You have to pay you for your work and take no faith. So we know these are obvious things that we know, obviously, but again, it was postulated to us said there is a magical figure out there that works on our behalf, and there's another magical figure that works against us. We've never met either of them, but somehow we accept it. God is man's imaginary friend, and Satan is man's imaginary enemy. That's all it is. That is all there is to it. But again, we're not going to believe about the obvious, because we know. We were the years of the you are where the years of Noah, and the people them out there in the diaspora, them know. Some people just afraid to admit it, and some people like Sir Chris and I not afraid to admit it. And that is what it is. It's obvious. It is what it is. Sir Chris, allow me to tell brother.
Shoot, brother, no lie.
Okay.
Perfectly, demonstrated there. You are absolutely on point. Nothing is, that you said was wrong. It was all right. All imaginary stuff. Our imagination is a hell of a thing, it's something that is a double-edged sword, uh, as impartial as they come. You understand? You just have to know which part of the sword to hold. Hold the angle, not the blade. You understand? You have complete and better control that way. Don't touch the blade because you don't have any control there. And that's what people are doing with their imagination, double-minded
Mhm.
on both sides of the fence at the same time, believing in a God and believing in a devil. How stupid is that? you know. But it's the tradition we've been fed, and we have passed it on to our loved ones, and the saga continues, you know. Bunch of different episodes and part one and two and so on and so forth to infinity. But you know, we're here to uh, break that chain, so to speak, and stop the confusion. And so, speaking of confusion, Sir Marlon, log up yourself. So we have Charmaine, we have Mark, we have Natara. Thank you all for being here. We're going to have a wonderful discussion today. We're going to try not to be too long with it. Got some things to take care of today, so we're going to try and be on point, on time, but try to be effective, you know, nonetheless. Today we're going to talk about very confusing, you know, chapter story in the Bible about Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah, who at the age of 100, Abraham and at the age of 90, Sarah gave birth to a son. So we're going to talk about how is that even possible. Try to break that, you know, belief or acceptance into this thing. Sir Marlon, what you say?
Big up yourself, Circus. Big up yourself, Circus. Sir T. A long time in the past too, man, but you don't know so when that not happen, man, just because not able to come true. Can you hear me loud, right?
Yeah, man, you're coming through clear, brother.
Yeah, well, hey, it's so funny, you know, thinking about the glass half empty. You see, when Sir Chris big up a while ago, him him he came off saying, speaking of confusion, Sir Marlon, big up yourself. So I want come in and then, you know, and then another person. So a person come in and think say, oh, one of the confused one them. Okay. You just segue right into that. So me I say, okay. All right, let's say a word. But no man, big up yourself, man. Brother, listen to me. Yeah?
That would be Sir Clifford.
Oh, when them online, big up yourself, Sir Clifford.
I'm so far, man.
Okay, okay. Yeah, hey, listen, before you even um go into the meat of the matter, you know. If you follow this YouTube on TikTok, 'cause you know that TikTok is like a university to ones and ones in the car. Me not follow no other app more than I one day, and for the sole purpose of individuals where like ourselves who are awake and bring forth knowledge. And, you know, some of them you have to, you know, um eat the meat and spit out the bones, and some of them are right on point with, you know, you can resonate with what them are saying. When you have about three individuals, you have this young youth that came forward for the past. I've been watching him content for the past, I'd say maybe about a month now. Can't remember his name now that him come to mind, you know, but him keep knocking the Christian them at them head. But it might come from a spiritual perspective though, because I'm a former Christian. But when I tell us that the youth is on point with the with the examples where I use
Yeah.
to knock them. Anybody here in this youth, they would have to definitely just be big-headed, bull-headed, and just love religion and Christianity. For don't for not to see the logic. Not to say our content is not good enough, you know. But him go in depth and him like him have a he just think like him have a personal vendetta against them. But I guess he has reason because just like us, he was brought up in that system.
Yeah.
Seen? And it do him bad and him realize that there was no results. So right now him run with God, you know, and him run with God and church people and him run with all them something there openly, you know.
Yeah.
You see man, yeah man, him run it to man and
Man,
what do you
talk
name
about
again, man? Ozzy or something like that? No. You guys must see him on your For You page though. But just can't that young youth man have a beard and I think him have locks. Them little short locks or been if braids and thing. and he had a near-death experience situation that he posted up and thing, and people that thinks about you have to thank God and what it is. And I'm still on fire upon this so-called. I'm said if there was such a person, and that's the important thing, in a place God as no individual or God as nothing, You see me I did him say if God was a person, you see me I did an individual. There is no one called God. If so, it is all things and everyone and all things. You know what I mean? But me just want to highlight that still say, you know what I mean? Listen, you have some people out there where really a push. I share, let me not say push. I share this content, yeah, and thing, and just like our platform right here, you know what I mean? 'Cause trust me, this platform here I go grow. It's like, you know, for some reason the other day I was thinking about them, I'm like, say a platform here, I go grow more so and thing. I don't know why it just come to me out of the blue like that. But it just come to me. I say, you know what, I'm talk to the guys, I'll make them know still. So that just come to me. Boom. You know what I mean? Back to you, Circles.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that, Sir Marlon. Just let me find the guy. Share to
Yeah, man, I'm gonna look for you right now. Yeah.
can at least acknowledge this individual.
I think I share him that I think I shared something from him inside the chat already.
Okay. Um,
But I
but
look for him now.
because right now, the guy that I listen to mostly at the moment is a guy named Bill Donahue or William Donahue. Didn't we have a talk show who was named, oh, in the name, Bill Donahue?
Yeah.
Remember Donahue?
I know the Dana you name, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that the last name that sounds familiar for you. That done you thing there. But me know the brother what Chris talk about that him been listening to recently. But yeah, TikTok is flooded right now, man, with consciousness. What if people out there we see the light right now and now hold back? Yeah, but what if a live where you got through all night long? You can find somebody out there that is sounding a trump. And the
Yeah,
trumpet of
man.
his sound. And as Sir Marlon said that this platform on you so is gonna grow and it is growing. See, growth is not always linear in terms of numbers. In the fact that the few individuals were on here that has been here for a while and then the fact that those people are growing, that is a reflection that the platform is growing. So if one individual move from this place of consciousness to that place of consciousness, then the platform is growing. Now it's not growing in terms of 25 people or 50 people or 100 people, but if three people there and the three people are growing, then the platform are growing.
Exactly.
And in time it will grow in numbers. Because he grew a while ago, they say, see, Anna just giant, so it's still a grow.
Yep.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man.
if you grow in spirit, you will grow up in numbers, and that's how you go. The consciousness that we're growing or fostering right now will attract, it's becoming magnetized, you understand? And attract those numbers of people and what have you. But in the same breath, the most important growth is yourself, and that's why we come here, every week, just about. Sometimes we're on a break and what have you, as we were last week, but we're back now. But even when we're on a break, we're still conscious, we're still, putting in the work, within ourselves to continue to grow, to evolve. And, as I mentioned, Bill Donahue, this guy, white guy we're talking about over 30 years or 40 years, however, he's been doing this thing. And we just found out about him just this year, just now. But there's a reason why he came across my feed. And I realized this guy had done this God thing from a long time. He's been cursing the church, the religion. I don't know if I've seen a guy more adamant about you know, getting rid of church, and he's a white guy. I know where he teaches. He actually has a congregation. He teaches anybody can come, whether they believe in the church or not, or believe in whatever he said or not. He has them come there, like Reverend Ike, and him just tell them like it is. And if they're in the audience frowning and acting up and so on and so forth, oh, so be it. So he's always teaching and putting up the true examples of the Bible, and using their own Bible to explain to them that what they're doing is nonsense, and this is what the actual stories mean. He makes sure to tell them, as we do here, that the Bible is true, but it is not real. It is true in terms of the principles that it teaches. The stories are truth in principle only, not truth in history or actuality. They are only truth in the principles that they teach, the spiritual and the mental, truth that they teach. What is not real about it is none of it is historical. Absolutely none of it is of any historical facts. And anyone who makes those claims are, like Sir T saying earlier, it's just in their imagination. They cannot prove their claim that these people that we're going to talk about today, Abraham and Sarah, existed. The Bible, however, confirms that they did not. In their own Bible, it tells you. It may not have been as deliberate or as forthcoming, but if you read the stories carefully, properly, you will see that these things could never have happened based on our observation of actual real life, so to speak. Our time, our existence now tells you the things that happened in the Bible are not happening now. And the best way to have convinced anyone about the Bible is to have those same things happening now, where a man who's 100 years old and a woman who's 90 can have a child.
But Sir Chris, when you really dig it, it's not coming like we have been hypnotized into believing that the life where the man them in the book was living was real, and our life not. Because it was them can't real, because things them where that happen in a freedom life not happening in ours. So it's either freedom life real and ours is not real, or ours real and freedom not real. And I am gonna have to go with my life, that my life is real, because my life is the reality that I have experienced. And in this reality, check it again. What would be so? Because them said this Sarah giving birth to this youth here when she was 90. It is said to be a miracle. And Abraham getting her pregnant when he is 100 is said to be a miracle. But wasn't them people living until them 100 and 80 and 200 and 300 and 400? So if a woman is living till she has 400, so why you think say she'd have reached menopause at the same age with them young woman here reach menopause?
Yeah.
There would be no miracle in it. If she's gonna live till she has 400 and her childbearing years is gonna be a half of her lifespan, just like these women right now. These women right now on average live to be 80 and 90, and them childbearing age is about 45, 50. Now the same thing, brother. So no miracle no there and there, so. And a man who is 100 years, if a man gonna live till him 175, like Abraham lived till him 175. Then you want to tell me if him Charlie suppose he drop dead when time him. If you're going to live till you're 175, your child is supposed to still go on with that thing when you're 100, so no miracle not there, so. You over me assess, Chris, if that was the natural lifespan of the people in them time there, then it's natural to a woman at 90 can continue in childbearing because she go live till she's 170.
Yeah.
So when you really check the logic side, the whole thing is just there to confuse and bamboozle. It's not real. It's not reality. This life we are living is our reality. This is the only reality we know. And anything that does not line up, it's not consistent with this reality right here, is not real. This reality right here is, you see, anything we have to believe by faith, brother. Anything that, sorry, I was muted for a second. Anything that you have to believe by faith, it's because it is not true. Because faith is the opposite of fact. I know there is not a book or encyclopedia or first aid in English book out there that details that, but take it from certain. Think out it for yourself. Faith is the opposite of fact. And fact is the opposite of faith. Things that are factual, you don't need no faith to believe it, to accept it. Things that are factual, you don't need no faith to accept it. You don't need no faith to accept, say, when a man and a woman come together, and as long as the woman and the man body is functioning as it should, when them come together, it is possible that they can conceive a child, and the child is gonna be one of two gender. It's either gonna be a male or a female. That's a fact. You don't need no faith to believe that. When the woman gets pregnant and it is confirmed that the woman pregnant, it is a fact, 100% fact, that in 270 days, give or take, that child is going to be here. And it is a fact. That child is going to be here within 270 days. That child will be here. You don't need no faith. You know, if it did it, and I have faith when the woman with 7 months pregnant, 8.5 months pregnant, I have faith that within a few weeks she will give. No faith. You don't take no faith. It's a fact.
He's going to have that baby. So
exactly. Anything that requires faith because it is not true. It's not a fact. That's why it requires faith. It doesn't require enough faith to accept that the sun will rise tomorrow morning. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, even if me not there, you see it. Whoever there will see it. The sun will rise tomorrow morning, and over this over Fort Lauderdale side it will rise, and over Tampa Bay side. That's a mathematical certainty, brother. You don't take no faith because it's a fact. That's why it don't require no faith.
yeah.
Anything that requires faith is okey pokey. Foolishness.
Okay.
Okay.
See, I'm sorry, I got 30. I love how you said that. Faith is the opposite of fact, or fact is the opposite of faith. You know? And the new word that I use now is believers, you know. So it's a new, I would say, movement, believers. And if you're asked to believe anything, it's because it is not true. Generally, time you're asked to believe anything is not true. And the Bible, you're asked to believe these stories, all of them. You're asked to believe these stories that we talk about here each and every week. And without asking or inquiring about it, or how is it even possible that these things happen? They just have faith that these things actually did happen. Our beliefs that Christ is going to return one day. They don't know when it's going to happen. And then some say they do. But you're asked to believe, without inquiring, how do they know? What signs are we to look for? And so on and so forth. So it's always this back and forth when it comes to the religious doctrine. And, what we practice here, thinking. You understand? Over here, we're thinkers. We use our mind, our conscious mind, to think, to evaluate, to research, to, inquire. Just use common sense, logics. That's what common sense is. Logic to see how is this even possible? How does it make sense? And if it don't make any sense, discard it rather than holding on to it, because you know within yourself from experience that these things are not possible. Never have, never will be. But we're asked to believe.
I like what you say about think that we are thinkers over here, because I have this thing that I say that thinkers don't believe and believers don't think. Believers don't think. Once you start thinking, that means you start using your own mind. You're not just accepting and believing, you're not thinking. Once you start thinking, you're going to stop believing. Those two things can't ride at the same. Thinking and believing don't go together. Thinkers don't believe, and believers, they don't think. Over here, we are thinkers. We think. As a matter of fact, this is how we ended up where we are at right now. By thinking, we started to use our own brain. We start to use our own experience, what life has taught us. Remember, I know, life is the ultimate teacher. Life is the only teacher that will never lead you inaccurately. The lessons that life has taught you. Remember, I know, your name born, no say if you touch your fire, it will burn you. A life teacher, that you know. Whether it be through your own experience or you see it happen to somebody else, a life teacher, that you know. The lessons that life teach you, never you go against your experience so as to line up with what a book I tell you. Say. If the book tells you that a virgin can have a baby, but life sure you say it requires some kind of copulation between a man and a woman to bring a baby. Do not discard what life has taught you to go line up and believe something that a book is trying to teach you. But if the man write the book a lie, tell, do men lie?
Yes.
Do men lie?
Yes.
Of course. Men lie. There's no doubt about it. Did men write the Bible? Yes, men write the Bible. So two things we know of your fact. We know that men write the Bible, and we know that men lie. So if you see something in the Bible that does not line up with reality, is there a possibility that the man that wrote it was lying? You better believe that. That's what men do. Men lie. Men, as a matter of fact, there is a scripture in the Bible, you know, that says, let God be true and every man be a liar. If it's every man, that means it have to include the man we are like that to, you know, so he's a liar to you. Let God be true and every man, including the man that is writing that scripture. Every man is a liar. We are all liars, all of we. Give a man a good reason. Give a man the right motivation to lie, and he will lies behind that. Man and woman, because they go like a man, no more like woman lie, but doing it. It's just a reality. It's just a reality. And people might think say lying is such a bad. No. There are times when the right thing to do is to lie. A man go say, well, we saw it your chat say. There are times when the right thing to do is to lie.
Yeah, sin.
Huh? Sin. This is not sin. All right, let me use an example when the right thing to do is to lie. Let's say you were living in a time when Hitler they be execute. And you see two children run come at your door and say, open the door fast. And two Jewish children, and they run come at your door and say, open. And as soon as you open the door and let them in, here comes the Nazi soldier them. Saying, did you see a little boy and a little girl pass by here with you? Which way did they go? No, I didn't see them. Isn't that the right thing for you to do?
That's a lie.
Aren't you lying?
Yeah.
Isn't that the right thing for you to do?
Of course.
Okay, good. That's my case.
Oh my gosh. That would be a good discussion with a religious individual, you know?
Listen. We can't look on it even as a lie neither, because aren't we supposed to do what is considered good and decent?
That is the right thing to do.
Therefore, exactly. So therefore, what is good and decent in that point in time is to It's so it's going to piss off a lot of people to say this, but it's to deceive those fellows because they're looking to kill and destroy children. How can I live with myself if I allow that to happen? It's me, so therefore I have a way of preventing it, and that prevention is lying that I saw them. So I didn't miss the mark. Cause lying, cause sin, is saying missing the mark, You'd miss the mark if you did not do what was decent, good and decent in terms of protecting those children. Because of certain destruction, that's a low vibrational function right there. You understand? Because it is a listen, when you have vibrate high, it is productive, It is always productive to do that, It is destructive when you have vibe on a low frequency. That's why it is never the right direction to go with our thoughts. You understand? So, indeed, that is the right time to lie, sir. 100%. A lot of people may disagree, but they can't stay there and scratch them butt pan bag wire.
Yeah, no, they can. A person can disagree all they want. They will never be able to disprove what we just say. Say it is the right thing to do in that moment to deceive, lie, whichever terminology we want to use. The right thing to do is to send them soldiers on their way. You can't let them in for the innocent people we seek refuge in your yard. Because you're trying to be obedient to some good. So why the God then I protect them people? I have to protect them people because apparently the God there is not able to protect them. So to hell with God, I'm lying.
Hey, not to digress. But I don't know why this just jumped out of my head. It really don't have a lot to do with the topic. Some of the one go off topic. But I want to bring to you guys' attention. Maybe you guys have discussed it before. And some less than that. Do you remember the writing in the Bible when God sent the angel them to when named the Lot after them leave Abraham, and Lot take them in and wash them foot and give them food and whatever it is, and later on that night we hear boom 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 on the door, and open the door is the men of the city. The men of the city say, Lot, they say you have two nice chapped man there, send them out and make us love them up and all them thing. And Lot said, no man, not do that, man. Why? No man, no, Lord the man them, man, I allow them to him there. And them turn from Lot and say, Lot, where I do? Remember say, I grace you there upon you. Don't make what to deal with you too, Send out the man them and make us love them up. And Lot said to them, remember what Lot said, Now you tell me what could sanction this. Lad said, no man, I mean I have two daughters, man. You can't send out two, and thing. Why would Lad say that? As I say, we are diagnosed just a quick moment for sure. I said this thing is nonsense. Why would any father put out him? He knows what the intentions of the men are to have sex with the other men. So that's what I'm about. According to the writings, why would you put out your daughter, in which we are most societies those times? Your virgin daughter has to enter into a marriage by a bride price. Why would that be a good thing for Lot to put out his daughters to the men of the homosexual men of the city to spare the other two men them who him not even did realize they are the angel yet, according to the writings. You think where I come from? Yeah. So the Bible, these people make no sense with this narrative, and a lot of people sit down and them read this thing, Them read it and them go on let them understand it, even though it bothers them. And they sit in the pews every day, reading these things, regurgitating it, and act like them no one question the nonsense. You dig what I say? It was just a digress still. But that
used to be us too. We used to read
of course.
And think it. The problem though, not the problem. The difference.
It has always bothered me.
It was always bothering me.
Yes.
That's why I kept reading the Bible over and over till I got through it 30 times.
I realized it is nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some Alan used to live in the same house in California. And you remember how we used to chow Bible. You remember say we have Bible with we. When I tell you, we used to read through Bible, brother. Me and the same brother where you say right there, so. This
Yes,
is how
no
many
man.
years ago this is how many years ago we are talking about in California. 2003.
2003.
I know today, that's why when a man hear me speak on this book, nobody, like I said, I've said it before, and the first time I read that Bible from cover to cover, I was 11 years old. And nobody tell me if you do it. 11 years old, me use the summer when me out of school and read it from cover to cover. That's how much I wanted to know where this thing is.
Exactly.
It not add up, brother. And whole heap of people will go argue, will try to argue with you about this book here. If you ask them and they have to be honest, they have never read it complete. So how can you hear two man in the lunchroom at work, lunchtime, at about a movie come out last week, and them guys theater go watch a movie. And them talk about the movie, and you did get the movie, but you did get a phone call and feel leave. So you never watch the whole of the movie. You watch part of it. And you hear the man them will watch a whole movie talking about it, and you will argue with them about it. You can't be arguing about a movie where you didn't watch. You can't be arguing about a book that you didn't read. Make the people them will read the book talk about the book.
And the people
Exactly.
who are innocent that it's not history. These are symbolic writings, parables, metaphors, exaggerations. These are just psychological dramas depicted on paper. It's all mental. Everything about it is mind. Maybe Reverend Ike would say, mind science. Call it the book of mind science. The book of knowledge of the mind. But it's written in a way where it confuses the reader when we are reading in a sense of history. But once we get rid of the history, like I said to some guy I was discussing this with earlier in the week, said Jesus Christ not real. And him said, this was his exact look. Jesus not real? It's showing you how people already sell out to this madness, even as a grown man. Our woman, you hold on to this lie that we've been taught in our book. And as we've been saying here earlier, in recent past, that if the story of Santa Claus was in the Bible, if the nursery rhymes, that we know, and I've rehearsed over and over and over, if we read those in the Bible, best believe, that these are true, these are real stuff, happened in reality, Santa Claus flying on a sleigh with reindeers and dropping off gifts in people's homes, and they're no different than the man walking on water than
Then I read deer flying through the sky. I see something. No, that one them can't happen. But one is written in a book that force you to believe it, and the next one is just a tale that goes around, and by the group you realize you're not goes up.
I'm going to show you a thing. You see Rudolph was the run to the litter,
Yeah.
Can you tell me the difference when you hear a pastor up on the pulpit and say, "Be ye Rudolph"? That's the title of the sermon, and come up and say, Rudolph was the runt of the litter. Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
Nobody knew the potential of Rudolph because he was the smallest, he had a red nose, and everybody laughed at him. Yeah. Amen. But the point I'm trying to make is not even trying to be funny. It's just, how is it going to be different from them coming up and saying the same thing about a fictitious? None of us can prove the Bible. None of us. What we know, though, are our experiences.
Yeah.
But none of us, you're left to accept or not accept what is written in the Bible. What we do, we see where there's logic at times, and at times we can use biblical references to back up what we speak. But no longer do we look at the Bible the same way we did when we were into that brainwashing situation, that brainwash situation. No. You know what I'm saying?
And you make an important point, Sir Marlon. There is a lot of logic in that book that can be practically applied to our experience. Like, for example, when you read the Proverbs that tell you that a wise son take heed unto his father. Yes, true.
Yeah, man.
You understand this? But I use the analogy of the rat poison to you guys before, I'm pretty sure. The most potent rat poison is not the rat poison we have 95% poison or 5% good food night. As the rat now go eat that. As soon as the rat smell, you know that's the poison, not eat it. The real rat poison, the best rat poison is the rat poison that have 95% good food and 5% poison. So the Bible has most of it is applicable. When you read it, it's good, it's applicable. But it can be very, very dangerous to your health, brother. If you're going to take that thing there and feel like, say, a psycho, like how you read your psycho, you'll be better off leaving it alone and never touching it at all. And we're not there over here to tear down Bible. We're there over here shining a light on the interpretation of Bible and what they have used the Bible to do to mankind. Listen to me. Fear is your enemy. Fear is every man's enemy. Anything that you accept under the duress of fear could not be for your benefit. It could not be for your benefit. Anything at all, because you're afraid. Brother, afraid, we get afraid when we run go baptizing.
Yeah.
The first time them baptized me as a picnic, you notice me never said me get baptized. Me said them baptize me. I want to whole heap with them catch. I want to whole heap, I think, a 30 other with them catch and baptize that Sunday night. It was a preacher, an evangelist from far out. Come there and he had a 1 week crusade there. And by the third night, every one of we has picnic. The man preached some message there and I say, oh, I tell you, 2 weeks ago I was preaching down there in Mile Gully. It was a 1 week. It was a 1 week crusade just like this one. And from the first night I went there was a young man. He came every night and he's standing there in the back. And when we called the altar call, all the other young men came except that young man. And on the second night, it was the same thing. And on the third night, I called to the young man specifically and I said, you need to come to the altar and give your life to the Lord tonight. He said the young man turned away and left. And he got on a motorcycle and headed off down the road. And in no time, they hear one ball out there when they go. And when he said he died, you speak it now, you're like, it's cute. Yo, yeah, hear me, I almost want to go jump off in a pool without nobody invite me that night, man. Here.
So, what happened to the brother, sir team? Gone to hell?
I don't know when, I don't even know if that brother ever exists. I would have lied that brother, the pastor did that tell. We don't know nothing about that. I think it happened a Mile Gully, that couple miles down the road from we are in a company news. We don't know about
Oh,
So you see what happened there now?
no,
Hey, listen me. The same thing reached me, The same thing reached me. You remember this whole Y2K business?
Yeah,
Them boss, December 1999, me and my wife go baptize at New Haven SDA, man.
December.
Just because of that.
What date?
Eh?
What date in December? You remember?
Me don't remember what the date do, but I December 1999, brother. I don't know if for the last day or what, but the man, people have baptized like foolishness because of the whole crash and the end of the world thing and whatever. And can remember, I know 2012 alone, them that was scared, Me I talk about 2000, the year 2000, them that was scared, Y2K business,
Yeah.
And so we were going to the church and thing, and I listened to this guy named Mark Finley and thing, very good evangelist in terms of bringing across a message, but When I say very good, I talk about the ability we did have
Where,
to bring
where,
across messages.
where is this guy? In America?
Mark Finley, yeah, man. Mark Finley is a SDA evangelist, tele evangelist, whatever you call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And yeah, man, we baptized, brother, just for that reason. Fear.
Ask him, how come the world that destroyed now from 2000? With that
Then from then time, I start mark time, man, and I say, yo,
25
you know
now.
what the funny thing is? You know, hey, to be honest, one of the biggest things to me is the fact that, hey, man, I tell you, say, no, man, listen, the intellect of the universe, our connection to it, and ones who wake up first in order to help the others. Like, Sir T is one of them. You, Sir Chris, before we even meet you did already wake. You see me, I deal with? Sir T, me and Sir T, I deal with Hebrew Israelite business. Me and Sir T did, with the separate for a number of years, many years. And when we connect back, the two of us up on the same thing. Because when I left California, come and cover Florida and thing. And anyway, when we connect back, me and them are talk the same talk, I remember, we did a certain say before a Bible thing with the depend, Certain going to Rasta business already, Me did step my foot in it still because my father was a Rastafarian, never grow locks, but he was a Rastafarian, by him practice and everything. Don't never pray Selassie. So me touch on almost every little thing. Sunday church thing, me touch on that about my family were Adventists by my mother's side. So watch the levels now.
Okay.
We both have touched, we both have touched different aspects of different kind of religion. Never touched the poker business still, but me observe it. The reader people them will wrap up them head off pencil
Yeah.
and water in the middle of them yard with one quart buckle and them something there.
Yeah.
All right, check your levels now. All them something there is nothing but nonsense. So watch me. We ended up dropping upon the Hebrew Israelite thing, and nothing is by coincidence, That had to happen,
Yeah.
To where we are right now, because seeking answers, Sir Chris.
Yeah.
That is why you see we were at the different places in our journey to life. It's because we've been seeking truth, logic. We don't want just somewhere sound true. We want it to have logic behind it. So that's why you see when you see, I'm gonna say the biggest thing for me is why God not answer people? Why I'm just silent and say babies had died? You see, people are killed, innocent people and whatever. And we keep on a compromise for him, say, if something not happen, because it's not God's time for you. But then when it happens, you say, we only do it. And them something used to bother me, but I never had an out.
Yeah.
And you see me, I did. So when Sir T come to me now, and at first, I kind of did standoffish still, because Sir T did take for himself for a good couple of months, close to about a year, I would say. And then him forward back and my bill and, we still attack the Hebrew Israelite lingo, and him never really support like before, but him attack something though. And I'm saying, I'm show you a thing. And him start showing me a vibes. I'm start listen. And if Certain remember, I never grab on so quickly like right at the first time. But I still a listen. So you see when Certain start talking now and I show me the vibes and never got that and thing, and Certain attack some things that were make sense to me, like him I say, yo, no God no in the sky, no brother. God the inside of you. You know how much that resonated with me, because when him start say, when you say your prayer, or when you hear a voice, I tell you what to do and this and that and whatever it is. Eh? Oh God sound. Him say, your voice you hear inside of you. He say, brother, are you are the one, your consciousness within. And I saw certain start show me the vibes little by little. And when me tell you, say logic, brother, things start just line up and make sense.
Yeah.
You understand? I couldn't deny it. I was convicted.
Yeah.
I saw the light. So, you understand? I have to start build upon a level, brother, and it was a transition because my family still have a foot in with the Hebrew Israelite thing. I mean, my wife and, my kids, them, you know what I mean, and whatever it is. However, she's still seeing logic over years and whatever, but I feel like the fear of not being 100% sure is not something that I force on her, because you can't force it on nobody. You have to, everybody has to come to it for themselves, because that's when they understand the thing. You see me, I did? Or can you go back to your vomit?
No,
Real talk, man. Real talk, man.
can't do it.
Mm.
Can't do it. You know, but yeah, man, as we're just discussing the confusion of the Bible, and there's a reason for it, you know, because we operate in two hemispheres, and that brings confusion. Anytime there's two, there's going to be a quarrel, a disagreement, indifference. You're going to have, ups and downs, as they would say, you know. And so the Bible is written. Remember, I tell you, this Bible is about the mind, and that's how the mind operates. The mind, though it is one, it has a dual operation. So that in itself, tells you that there's going to be confusion until you come to grips of how to control the mind, how to use the handle of the knife rather than the blade, We've been given the blade by religious indoctrinators to hold on to. Never the handle. We have not been given control of our own mind. They give us these doctrines to hold on to, and they sway us right or left. We're put against each other, and so on and so forth. So, and that's what the story that we're talking about today is depicting. The story of Abraham and Sarah. Many of you guys know the story, but we may not know the deeper meaning of why the story even come together in the first place. Remember Abraham was first named Abram, Abram. Then the name was changed to Abraham. All they did with the name Abraham, is added one letter, which is the H. And Sarah, who was at the time Sarai, her name was changed as well. So, you saw two people's name that were changed in the story. And all of this is happening for a reason. But what we want to draw out first and foremost, though, is the age of Abraham and the age of Sarah. Sarah was 90 years old when she had Isaac. They had a son named Isaac, and Abraham was 100. In the story, they asked the question: can a woman who's barren, Sarah is barren, be pregnant at 90 years old? I think Abraham was 99 at the time, saying, can a woman of her age, who has never been pregnant, who's been barren all of her life? So because of that now, she's been barren. Sarah told Abraham to sleep with him, with her handmaid. Okay? Hagar. And Hagar bore Abraham a son named Ishmael. And then later on in the story, Sarah called out to God and said, boy, what about me? I want a child too. And God said, all right, I'm going to bless you with a son. I'm going to call him name Isaac. And Sarah laughed. No, she never said Isaac. She said, you're going to have a son, and Sarah laughed. I said, can a woman of my age have a child? That's what we're asking you, You see how they're relating that. That's a natural question that we would ask right now. Can a woman of 90 years old have a child? And the story went on to say, well, anything possible with God. They said the same thing to Abraham. Abraham laughed. Hence, when Sarah did get pregnant and have a child, guess what they named the son? Isaac. Guess what Isaac name mean? Laughter. Or he who laughed. You think that's a coincidence? Why would you name your son after a gesture that you made based on being told that you're going to be pregnant and have a son? Laughter. They named the son off of, how the nature in which they were in at the time, hearing something so-called impossible, that a woman of 90 and a man of 100 can come together and have a son at their age. And she was barren all this time. Now, let's read the story on, this is in Galatians, right? This is Galatians with talking about the story, right? And it was said that, for it was written that Abraham had two sons, one by a bondmaid and the other by a free woman. So the bondmaid here is Agar, and the free woman is Sarah, right? But he who was on the bondwoman was born after the flesh. See the flesh here? Our skin, right? Our being physical, all right? Anything when they mention flesh, you're talking about being physical. But the other free woman was by the promise, or by promise, right? Isaac was the promise, right? God said, boy, I got a promise, I got a son named Isaac, So Isaac was the promise. And then verse 24, so this is Galatians 4 we're reading. Galatians 4 from 22 to 26. Verse 24 say, which things are an allegory? All right, so I like to document these things, So what is the meaning of the word allegory? Or what is the meaning of allegory? Right? Here we say, an allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one, whatever, right? An allegory is a story, a poem, or a picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. So what is it telling you here? That the story you're reading is not the story. It never happened. It is something that requires interpretation to find the hidden meaning, the esoteric meaning of the story, right? It says, for these are the two covenants, the one from Mount Sinai, which is gendereth to bondage. Mount Sinai is us, which is Agar, okay? Mount Sinai is the flesh. The Bible is telling you so plainly, only if you are awakened to understand it that way. But once you're reading it from a religious or physical or historical standpoint, you're not going to understand it. You're going to see it as something that actually happened. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and people think we're talking about Arabia in the Middle East and stuff like that. That's not what he's talking about. And answereth to Jerusalem, which is no. This is very key right here. And answereth to Jerusalem, which is no, and is in bondage with her children. But the Jerusalem which is above is free, and which is the mother of us all. So he's talking about two Jerusalem. Jerusalem, in the sense, is a womb. You know what I'm saying? The Jerusalem is up above which is the mother. What does a woman do? A woman have a womb that gives birth. But they're talking about two Jerusalems, and this was always confusing. So you see, everything they're talking about is in two. You have Abraham, who have a bondmaid and a free woman. The bondmaid is Agar, the free woman is Sarah. They have two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Right? Ishmael was born to Agar. The story tells you that Ishmael would be an ass of a man. We did a program some months ago that tells you an ass or a donkey is the flesh. Anytime the Bible talk about Jesus riding on a donkey or the donkey speak and all these different things, they're not talking about an actual ass or donkey. They're talking about mankind, male and female, okay, who are considered in a symbolic way an ass or a donkey, or you sometimes say the person would be like wild, out in the wild, like Cain was wild. Our eyes are when Esau, yeah, Esau was a hunter, So they use these words to tell you about the fleshy side of mankind, right? But they're always talking about two, Esau and Jacob, um, Isaac and Ishmael. And I had this discussion recently with what name there, Sir Clifford, that if the story about Abraham is an allegory, which means it's a story told with a hidden meaning. What's hidden is the truth, but what you see on the front of the surface is not true. It is a made up story to depict or to tell of something more meaningful. And you're supposed to read what you see and decipher it, not read what you see and believe it or accept it as the truth. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to look into the inner meaning. So if Abraham was never a true character, that means Abraham's father, I forgot his name, was never did never exist. And Abraham's descendants, who Abraham was said to be the father of many nations. So anybody who came before Abraham and after did not exist. Therefore, if none of these people existed, the Bible cannot be a real historical book. It has to be a psychological book. Terror, that's right. It's imaginary daddy, right? So Terah had, I think, 4 sons or whatever. Abraham was one of them, right? And he, became the father of many nations, as they would say. But Abraham is named Abraham for a particular reason, and Sarah's named Sarah for a particular reason. Now, when you're reading about Abraham and Sarah, people think you're talking about 2 people. You're not talking about 2 people right there. Abraham and Sarah is one. They are one. Okay? But it's talking about the masculine and the feminine side of mankind. Everybody is masculine and feminine. Whether you're male and female, you are both masculine and feminine. Why are you masculine and feminine? Because of your mind. Your mind is both male and female, masculine and feminine. You understand? So you have to operate the same way as how your mind is, male and female. Okay, so you're always in a duality. That's why we always have this back and forth, this confusion and stuff like that. So Abraham and Sarah are not 2 different people. It's talking about you as an individual. You are Abraham and you are Sarah. Okay? And how they depict it, you have to read in between the lines. If you look at Sarah as a woman, so let's say Sarah is a woman, and they mention Hagar in this case. Sarah is the what I call it now, the subconscious mind. Sarah is the eastward mind, the mind from the east, the garden, the more powerful side of you. Hagar is the womb, the physical womb. So when they talk about Hagar, Hagar is not a different woman. Hagar is the same person, all in one with Sarah. Sarah and Hagar are the same person. And Sarah is just happened to be the higher womb, the womb of creation. You understand? And Agar is the womb that gives forth the flesh. It says, but he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh. Okay, so the flesh comes from the womb down here. That is the Jerusalem below. Isn't that what it said? That these are the two covenants. So the two covenants is you have a mind, your consciousness, and you have your womb. Both of them are wombs. One is above, one is below. The one above is the promise. That's where you're always gonna go to in terms of this promised land, the one above. But the one below brings forth every child in bondage. Every child is in bondage that comes out of the womb of a woman. Okay? Bondage in the sense that you're flesh. Okay? And you first know yourself as flesh, like Esau and Jacob. Esau was the firstborn, Jacob was the second. Esau is the flesh, Jacob is the spirit. But you know yourself only as flesh because that's what you see, that's what you're conscious of being. The other part of you, you're not conscious of. The subconscious mind, this Sarah aspect of you, you don't know. The Jerusalem above, you have no idea what that's all about. But these ancient writers write about these things in a way where it's a story and it sounds great and supernatural. It not so natural, none at all. None of this stuff you're reading about in the Bible is natural. It's all supernatural stuff, meaning that it is all mental. You understand? It's not happening naturally like what we see in the world right now. It's all mental. You can fly in your mind from here to Dubai in your mind. That's supernatural. That's not natural. I can be in Dubai right now just in my imagination. Easy. Anywhere. That's a supernatural act. I might write about that in a book and tell people say this is something that is actually real, that I traveled to Dubai in one instance while being here at the same time. Common sense will tell you that must be my imagination. It cannot be real life. I must be imagining this. You understand? That can lead to actuality, but when you're doing it in the present moment, you cannot be in two places at the same time in the physical. You can be in the only two way you can be in two places at the same time, one has to be mental, one has to be physical. It cannot be both. I cannot be physically here and in Dubai at the same time. Your consciousness does not work like that. That don't work them way there. Yes, sir, T.
Sir Chris, listen. Anything that a human being, them say Jesus was a human being, right?
What I'm saying?
Anything that a human being can do that no other human being can do, then that human is a superhuman, a superman. Anything that a man can do that no. For example, you look at a man like Usain Bolt and say, no man, a man is a superman. But before long you're going to realize that the things that Usain Bolt do and I'm alone can do. A man is gonna run 9.571. Not too long for now. You look at Diego Maradona and say, nah man, this a man is a different man. So till you see Messi, you realize that him different too. They thought that Sir Garfield Sobers was different. Brian Lara, them think Michael Jordan did different until you see Steph Curry. I do something where Michael Jordan never do yet. So anything that one human being can do, other human beings are supposed to be able to replicate it at some point. Anything where you find say a human being do and nobody has been able to replicate. Born from a mother that never had sex and then dead and come back to life. That man is not human. That man is not a man. That man is a superman. And Superman is not real. We already know that. Everybody knows that. Come on. My grandson knows that Superman now. Anything that a man is able to do, and no other man is able to do it, then the man who is doing the super things is Superman. And that means that man is not real. I don't care how great the deed is that a man has done. Before long, somebody else is going to do it. As long as he was a normal human being, I don't care how intelligent or intellectual he would have bright like Aristotle. Eventually, somebody else will come do it. And if nobody else does not repeat it, why do you think there is a myth out there that Will Chamberlain was not a real person? There's a myth out there, people actually have it as a myth out there that Will Chamberlain was not a real person. Because Will Chamberlain has done some things in basketball, 60 years ago, that to this day nobody has done it. But we've seen people come close. Will Chamberlain score 100 points, well, Kobe Bryant score 81. It's close enough to tell us that the Will Chamberlain thing could have been real, as we saw Kobe do that with his own two eyes, with our own two eyes. But anytime you see a human being do something, brother, and 2024 years later, nobody has still not even come close, then that story has to, I mean, you ever see a storm yet? You remember Hurricane Gilbert? Remember see a pan land with it there when Hurricane Gilbert was blowing? Can you imagine what it looked like out in the ocean? And you want to tell me, say, a man out in the ocean on a boat, it wasn't a ship either, you know? On a boat and Hurricane Gilbert started reel up and go on, and them tell us that the man was laying down in the back of the boat on a pillow asleep, you know, brother. Asleep, you know? In a hurricane, you know, and the man come at the front of the boat and just pull up and tell the storm to shut up and tap in eyes and go sit down. And the storm shut up and stop in eyes, and immediately there wasn't just a calm, you know. It tell us immediately there was a great calm. Virgin, are you serious? Can you conceive that in your mind? You remember what hurricane look like, brother? I remember see a man land where I see the hurricane. Can you imagine what it looks like out in the ocean? Can you imagine the waves them out tall, the waves them is a cover everything where they're out there in the ocean? And you tell me say the man did the little man of glass, brother. We are growing people, it's full time, we stop believe foolishness, brother. That's my argument.
Yeah. And once you read the stories of authority, and you understand consciousness and how the mind works and how what the stories are trying to depict. That boat is you, the boat is your body. Just like the Noah's Ark, the boat are you and Jesus and the 10 disciples, the 5 disciples, represents your consciousness.
Correct.
All it represents your consciousness, one conscious, one subconscious. You understand? And your consciousness, your conscious mind is always wishy-washy, gets afraid because it's conscious of what it's seeing. Jesus represents the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is just a one-track mind, does not care of the reality of anything, whatever is going on, whether it is real or not real. It doesn't concern itself with any of that. The only part of you that concerns yourself with anything is the conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is completely one track. It's neither here nor there, just centered in the middle all the time. You understand? Always in the Garden of Eden, in the center. Okay? And so the conscious mind is back and forth, wishy-washy. The water being stirred up there is just your emotional side being worried. Isn't that what them said to God, to Jesus? Hey, Jesus, we're worried. We're going to perish.
Right. Yeah, it's your conscious mind that is all over the place worried, and your subconscious mind is just laying down on a pillow and chill. Because the subconscious mind knows a star, whether it be storm or calm, to the subconscious mind, both of them are the same thing. Storm or calm, it no matter to the subconscious mind. Okay. So the subconscious mind is the virgin where they on the pillow asleep. I know one man, I know one human being, one woman pick. You're mad. Water will drown you out there, and you could have 1 million God in your back pocket. Water will drown you out of seeing a storm, boy, you're God, you're mad.
So when people read these stories, I take them literal as such. I said, boy, God good in or Jesus good in. You come lay down on the ship or the boat in the storm, knowing fully well in their own mind that this thing is not possible. But they are asked to believe it. And if they don't believe it, you're going to go to hell. You're not going to see the promised land. And all these different things you're being told. So you believe a bunch of nonsense just to play it safe. It's like buying insurance. You know, play it safe. Just in case I need it. Or buying warranty. When you buy a product, you know you don't need the warranty, you know. You don't need it. But just in case something was to go wrong, you know, it is a kind of safe haven. You know, it's something that will calm you down, make you feel, you know, fine for the moment, so to speak. And so that's what the Bible does. The Bible gives you these narratives telling you about yourself. It's telling you exactly how the man or woman thinks in our mind, you know, that we have things that come up in our lives and we concern ourselves with it. Not realizing that in the deeper recesses of our own mind, the subconscious, is the comforter, is the one that will solve all these issues that you so-called have. If you design the what you call it now, the thing that will free you or suffice or salvage the situation, you design that and then you turn it over to the subconscious without any concern as to how it's going to happen. Once you start saying, boy, well, how, where, when, like Abraham was saying, how is this going to happen? How is Sarah going to have a child and she's 90 years old? And the story says Sarah was barren. Do you guys realize that there are so many women that the Bible spoke about that were barren, or either a virgin, as in Mary? They're either a virgin or they're barren. The only part of you that is barren, always barren, is your subconscious mind. It does not mean that you cannot get pregnant. Barren in this sense just means that you don't know that this part of you exists. So therefore, you're always using the conscious mind to do everything. All right. No worries, Sir Mark. Have a wonderful day, sir. And thank you for joining. You know, you're not going to you don't know that the subconscious is there. Your helper, your helpmate, you know, the Eve. You don't know it exists. So you're forced as a conscious person to always trying to figure out how things are going to go, how life are going to go. And you're emotional about it. You know, you get, you know, worried or concerned, scared, fear, and all these things start to kick in because you do not know that you have a mind, one part being conscious, one part being subconscious. You only see in the front, you're not seeing the back, you know? And so you operate only by what you're conscious of, or conscious of being, or conscious of seeing, or what you are aware of, you know? And so that's all the Bible is telling you about your mind. The entire thing is talking about your mind. And the mind and the flesh are generally seen as the same thing. The conscious mind, that is. You understand? The flesh is the symbolic representation of the conscious mind. And if you realize that in the back of your body, in the back, you have a spine. Why is the spine in the back and not the front? If nobody told you you had a spine, you know you cannot see it unless you look into a mirror. It is totally representative of your subconscious mind, of your wisdom. If you notice, the brain goes all the way down into your spine, the spinal cord. That's where the brain extends all the way down into your spinal cord. That's where it gets its life from, the spinal cord. You know, It is the feminine aspect of you, and your subconscious is the feminine aspect, you know, or the spirit, or the soul, you know, the subconscious of you. So even your own brain requires relies on the spine, you know, for information and all these different things that goes on. It's a network, you know, and it's not there by accident. Everything that's the body depicts is the image and likeness of consciousness, how consciousness operates, the nature of consciousness. Okay, consciousness is a duality. That's why you have two eyes and two nostrils, two lips, a mouth and a tongue, you know, two hands, 2 feet. Everything is duality. Your brain and your heart. These are dual features of the body. You understand? They work together. You have duality right towards your entire body. But just remember that though it might be dual, it's all on one unit. It is telling you that the two are always one, the conscious and the subconscious mind. Abraham and Sarah, you know, Esau and Jacob, Isaac and Ishmael, Sarah and Hagar. You know, I didn't even realize that Abraham went to Egypt. Um, you know, when he left the land of your whatever name. Eh? He left that city and went to Egypt. What is Egypt? Egypt is the land of bondage. It is telling you that your consciousness is on a journey. It's even depicted in the Hebrew alphabet. Your consciousness is on a journey. The first place you're going to end up as consciousness is in the land of Egypt, which is right here. The earth, as we know it, or the body, which is the land of bondage. That's what Egypt means. And you have to, at some point, exit Egypt and go towards the promised land, which is going back to where you come from, the land of remembrance, remembering who you always been, you just forgot. Once you leave the right side or leave heaven, so to speak, you're leaving your memory behind. You're the prodigal son, leaving the father's house, going out into the fields, eating wild locusts and honey and all this foolishness, you know, starving. But one day you're gonna awake and remember that you came from Babylon, so you're gonna journey back. You know, you don't have to be out here. But all that is just a story of the consciousness taking on these realities, so to speak. None of it is necessarily bad or good or whatever. It just is, and we're just having an experience. Now, the reason why everything is so chaotic and full of confusion is because mankind have taken this Bible to be so literal that we're doing everything, you know, that we read in the Bible. Everything like, you know, women cannot speak or have be on the same level as a man, because the Bible says a woman must be subjective to her husband. I told you from the very beginning that Eve will have children you're gonna suffer in childbirth or childbearing. You must be submissive to your husband. Women are not allowed to speak in the church, and all these different things people read and take them so literal that we have treated women in the world as such, as like a lower level of existence, you know. And that's why I see the world is just full of you know, all these wars, because man has taken on the exact depiction of the Bible, especially the Old Testament. You realize that mankind has only held on to the Old Testament Bible. The New Testament Bible don't have anything like that that goes on, you know. New Testament Bible is totally different in terms of what it portrays, peace and love and all these different things. It's only in the Old Testament you find all these wickedness. And here we are, some 2,000 plus years later, still acting out these nonsense that we see in the Bible because we read it in the Bible. Because the Bible says so. The Israelites are the chosen people. So therefore, because they're chosen, everybody else are heathens. And so they have wars for, you know, over and over with these their neighbors because they are told that they're the chosen people. When, first of all, they're not even from there, the ones who are there now. I know Israelite people never ever existed. Because if Abraham never existed, that means that Isaac never existed. That means that Jacob never existed, who became Israel. So there are no Israelites. These people are not real. But what they have done, as I've told Sir Clifford on many occasions, they have plagiarized the Bible. These people. They live in the middle, they live in the East, and they think that the Bible is talking about them and them only. Oh, so I was talking about the East, the Promised Land, Israel. You know, Egypt is right over here. These guys have conveniently named these places Egypt and Israel and built a Jerusalem. The Jerusalem the Bible talk about is not something that is made by hand. So how in the world are you going to build a Jerusalem? Hmm? Jerusalem is not something that's built by hand, according to scriptures. And I saw the new Jerusalem coming down. So where you get this Jerusalem from? Over there in Israel. You see the nonsense? And they're fighting over who's supposed to live here and who's supposed to live there. None of the stuff that we read in the Bible is history. It's all allegorical. It's all stories of the mind, depicting what the mind does, either in confusion or in harmony, depending on which way you look at it. You know, so we continue to act out the Old Testament of the Bible, and there's a reason for that in a sense because of the mental aspect of it. The Old Testament is the conscious mind, if you want to look at it as that. It's the conscious mind. The conscious mind is double-minded, is wishy-washy. The conscious mind is of the flesh, not of the spirit. And so the subconscious is the New Testament because it's something that you found out afterwards. It is new. The conscious mind is old because that's what you know first. When you come out of your mother's womb, or even before that, you are conscious. You know you're somewhere. You come out of your mother's womb, you probably cannot talk, you cannot communicate, but you as a child, we don't remember it. But when you come out as a child, you know you're somewhere. You know. That's why you're looking around. You look at your own child, it will tell you the child is interacting with the world, interacting with you. Them know. They just don't know what they are, who they are, where they are. They have no clue. But your consciousness, looking out through the lens of your eyes, you found yourself in a strange land, in bondage. You are a slave, in bondage, in Egypt. And your whole life growing up is to exit Egypt, meaning to go back to where you came from, go back to pure consciousness, you know? And that's all the book is telling you about. So there is a reason why the world is what it is, because the writers tells you between the two books, the old, the conscious mind is a mind of war, mind of evil, you know? It's a mind of war. It's always in conflict. That's why it depicts all these stories in the Bible as such, about going around and killing this and killing that. You know, it's your conscious mind. But at the same time, the people that's dying in the Bible are not real. None of this stuff ever happened. It is telling you a deeper secret of the mind. You're not killing real people, you're killing negativity, you're killing impossibilities, you're killing the belief in a God in the sky, so to speak. Kill all of those things. You know, they're not saying to go around and kill real people, literally. But these idiots out there in the world who teaches this thing have these people going out there doing the exact thing that they read in the Bible that they're not supposed to do, based on the New Testament that tells you, or even the Old Testament that tells you, thou shalt not kill, right? They're going out there doing it in the name of God, saying it is okay because God said they can't do it. Hmm? It is showing you it's a journey. You're supposed to journey to the right. What side of the Bible is the New Testament on? The right side. You think it's a coincidence? You're supposed to journey to the right hand, to the right side. You know, operate from the right, or we operate from the left hemisphere of the mind. Always thinking, one way or the other, double-minded, always in conflict. And nobody has taught us these things in the church or taught us these things in school. And this is the reason why the world is so topsy-turvy, because we were not given this truth about our own mind. We were told that because Eve ate an apple or some fruit from a talking snake. You see all the madness, all these supernatural things that happen in the Bible from the very beginning, a talking snake, two people walking around naked and don't even know it. Hmm? The snake comes and talks to this woman, and next thing you know, we have all suffered the sin of the rest of the for eternity because of what she did. And because of that, now women have been blamed even more so, because they said that they brought sin upon the world. Hmm? All this madness. And you don't question and think and say, hold on. This God is supposed to be omniscient, very smart, very wise. How would you make a world in such a way where this is even possible? Shouldn't it be pristine? Shouldn't it be um, you know, perfect, to use that word? How did we end up here if God is all-knowing and perfect? If whatever you are, and God is said to be without sin, right? Without sin, because sin belongs to the devil. So God is without sin, perfect, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, where whatever you create is supposed to be the same. And didn't they say that God created the devil? So if you created the devil, shouldn't the devil be just like God? Pure, omniscient, omnipotent, and all this type of stuff? And full of no evil? So how did this character, the devil, have such a difference? Let them say, oh, the devil changed, the devil turned against God. You're not supposed to be able to turn against your master who made you, because you were made in the image and likeness, meaning to operate the same way as your maker. So how are you supposed to change? And your maker is supposed to make it in a way where that's not even possible, because remember, this maker is God, all-knowing, all-powerful. Nothing more powerful than God. So you're not supposed to be able to do anything outside of how you're made. But if we're able to do all of that still after being made by God, what is that telling you? It could not have been any other way. Your maker, God, them say, is all knowing. All knowing means there is nothing that you do not know, including good and evil, including right and wrong, including, going forward and backwards. It's a cube, up and down, right, left. You understand? There is nothing that you do not know. So therefore, if you're made in the image and likeness of God, which is the conscious and the subconscious, consciousness, wouldn't you know how to perform good and evil? Wouldn't you become aware of good and evil? Because you're made in the same image and likeness. Likeness means the nature of the same operation, nothing different. But we're fed this story that because of the woman, that's why we know we suffer from evil now and why evil is in the world. It is all a story depicting consciousness. And they wrote the nature of it in such a way where it creates a story that's allegorical, that has within it a hidden meaning that you're supposed to discover or uncover. None of this thing is literal. There was never a man named Abraham, never a woman named Sarah. These are aspects of your consciousness. Okay, one being Abraham is the father, Ab. You understand? And within the name alone, Abraham, is the father and the spirit. The spirit is the feminine aspect of the consciousness, the subconscious mind. Everything is telling you right there. That one name is the conscious and the subconscious together. But we're not told these things. We're not told these things. We think these names are just somebody who actually lived. I'm going to get, what do you call it, a Bible dictionary. Some people call it the Christian dictionary, where it tells you the meaning of all the words or the names used in the Bible. It tells you their actual nature. And even though people have access to this, they don't have it. And for the ones who do have it, still take it literally, even though it's telling you. These are just aspects of your consciousness, and it is not to be taken literally. What you're supposed to do is understand the names and the nature of the names, whether they be Moses or Noah, Isaac, Abraham, Sarah, Jesus, doesn't matter. All these names have a nature about them, a mode of operation about them. And all you're doing is initiating them based on your situation at any given time. Okay? All these names are nature, are laden within you. They're within you. They are really who you really are at all times, and you choose to call one or the other any given time. Operating from a point of understanding or wisdom. So nobody never had a child named Isaac because Sarah never existed. It's all allegorical. Abraham never existed. All an allegory. The covenant we have has always been there. The conscious and the subconscious mind. They have a covenant to always be one. Always. You know? But when they come into this form, into flesh, one has to come in as a physical representation. The physical body is the mind, the conscious mind. Anytime they use the word mind, they're talking about the conscious mind. The body and the mind are man. Whenever you use the word man, man and mind is synonymous. It's the same thing. So we are the physical representation of the conscious mind. This is why we are conscious. This is why we can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. This is why everything to us is apparent. Only the conscious mind has that capability. The subconscious mind only has one sense. Okay? One sense, or they call it the sixth sense. Okay? It doesn't have five. It's one track. It doesn't concern itself with what the conscious mind concerns itself with, any kind of hardship or whatever impossibilities. It doesn't have that type of sensory for a reason. Everything to that mind is yes. Everything is possibility. Everything is one directional. If you say I can do something, the answer is yes. If you say you can't do it, the answer is yes. You can't do it. Whatever you consciously believe or accept to be true, the subconscious agrees. And the more you do it, it becomes that program within you automatically. And you operate as such. Okay? So, Surety, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Chris. I'm here. Gotten a bit busy with some paperwork, but I'm here.
Okay. Yeah,
Listening.
you're getting off at 12, right?
Well, getting off, but paperwork is flooding me.
Oh, so that can't go on. I'll go longer.
Yeah. I'm done working, but I have all this paperwork to complete, so it's like I'm still working.
Yeah, man, I understand. Speaking of, we're gonna wrap up shortly.
Oh, okay, brother. Yeah, man. It was a fruitful discussion, and we will continue to ring this alarm. We'll continue to ring this bell. We'll continue to shine a light on the thing for what it is, for exactly what it is. And let the chips fall where they will. Some people will see it, some people won't see it, but we will continue to shine. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we were once in the dark too. And somebody had to shine a light. I mean, nobody can wake up from this thing on their own. Somebody has to nudge you. Somebody
Yeah.
has to nudge you. Because keep in mind, there is somebody that is there that is rocking you to sleep. That thing is called religion. There's something out there rocking you to sleep. So somebody has to shake you into a state of awakening. Otherwise, you will stay there and sleep forever. And I mean, that's all we are. We are just somebody will walk out a certain darkness and now that we are out of it, looking back at it, we can see how dark it is. So we just shine a light over there and say, follow this light and see where you end up. Because the one thing with this, nobody now have to teach you this thing. Because you already know. I'm gonna have to just nudge you, remind you, and then you went out remember your life yourself. This is not something where nobody has to. How many times have you and I been having a discussion? Something that we never discussed before. And you said to me, "Certainly, watch this." And as soon as you start talk, or sometimes me start talk, I show you a thing, and as soon as me start talk, before me complete, you can know exactly where I'm going with it, even though we've never had that discussion before, and you've probably never even seen it that way before. But as soon as I start to go there, You see it because I remember. Yeah, I remember. When I'm gonna remind you of something, you have to tell you the whole story. You just send you down the path of remembering, and you remember yourself. You don't have to remind you of every detail of the event. As soon as you start remind you of the surface, you remember the time when we down at the grill and we go watch the World Cup final match in the morning. And as soon as we start tell you, don't the place come up before you right away and you remember the detail. I have to remind you of every detail of the thing. And you were there, you know.
Yeah, jump on the buckle and beer.
All right, good. You see, you all remember something when we didn't remember. And I'm me, the beer drop from me never remember, but you remember. And you were there. And as soon as I had no memory that a buckle of beer that out of me and the man, but as soon as you say it, I remember immediately. That's how memory go. If you find yourself in this thing and somebody have to teach you every day, then you know wake up, you're still asleep. When you wake up, nobody have to teach you nothing every day. But as soon as a man said, you start sitting to yourself and you start come back to you for yourself. That's how this thing works. This is not religion with pastor to take you this week and teach you and take you next week and teach you and teach you and just teach you and nobody know except pastor. Pastor alone know everything. Only have to everybody know.
Nobody now remember in a church.
Nobody now remember. Everybody depend on pastor to remember. And tell them.
Imagine that. It's almost like you in a class, and no matter how much the teacher teaching, you ever fail the test.
You have to.
Teacher now teach the class, right? Over here in the one grade I am, we're teaching it the right way because we understand the Bible to be allegory. It is true, but it is not real. Oh, you mean the Bible true and not real? What kind of foolish is that? It sounds confusing to people. And it's supposed to sound confusing until you come to the awakening.
Correct.
That what you're reading is true, but don't take it literally.
I think once we describe it that the Bible is true fiction, there's no better way to describe it than that. It is true fiction.
True fiction, I like that. True fiction, there you go. Oh, that's crazy. That's a good one. Yeah, man. It is mind science, as Sir Wayne and Reverend Ike like to say, mind science. And to see it as anything other than that, as some kind of history or facts, is to already be lost before you even begin the journey.
No, you're deluding yourself. And what it causes you to do, it causes you to start to create stories and excuses and vain imaginations to make this thing true. Because you have to question yourself about it now. When you question yourself, you say, well, if you already take the standpoint that, well, it is true, no matter what, it is true, then you will always come up with a reason or a possibility that could make it true. Well, maybe the virgin could have a baby true because, and you start come up with a bunch of because where you yourself know it don't make no sense. But because you have accepted that by all means it has to be true, then you think if you believe it with all your might, then your belief will turn it into the truth. It's ridiculous.
The mind is very powerful enough. It has that capability of turning a lie into truth. But here's the difference. That truth is only for you.
Exactly. That truth is it's not a universal truth. You are the one that have turned that into the truth. So it is only true for you. And that is okay. It's okay now. If it's true for you, it's okay. But guess what you need to do? You need to keep that truth there to yourself and stop going and knock on people who are not telling about your truth. Keep it to yourself. That's your truth. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, you cannot prove that truth. And you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth as something that is factual. You know, you see that truth you know. And as we discussed earlier, certainly, a fact is something that you can prove.
Yes.
It's if it's not proven, it's not a fact.
Every claim must. There are two things you have to do with a claim, and all the Bible is full of claims, saying all these things are just Godism and all these claims. Every claim you have to do one of two things with it. You have to either prove it or dispel it. Prove it or discard it completely. It, it, every claim must be put under scrutiny, and that is scrutiny of reality. Can it be proven? And if it cannot be proven, then it has to be discarded. You cannot. This world cannot run by claims. Then everybody could have claim anything. If you're going around believing claims, then why you not believe every claim? Believe all of them if you're going to start believing claims. Because that's what people are only claiming this and claiming that and claiming that when you die, you're going to go to heaven or hell. Show me one person who ever died in hell. Where is Moses? If Moses was a real, if Moses was a real person, where is he now?
Right?
Prove that.
Have to first prove heaven exists.
Good. Yes. So let's say we give you the benefit of the doubt. Say yes, he did exist. Where is he? You're gonna say he's in heaven. Prove it. You will never be able to prove it. So all it is a claim. And if you wanna claim, that's fine. Just keep your claim to yourself, because you can't prove it. Unless you're gonna allow me to start through my claims them and you're gonna accept me claim them too. If you want me to accept yours.
This is why they've asked to believe certain things.
Yes.
It cannot, anything you cannot prove, you're asked to just believe. You go in front of the judge as a defendant.
Mm-hmm. I said, just believe me, no man. How far do you think you're gonna get with that?
The judge said, well, based on the evidence we see, we got your fingerprint, we got this, we got that, we got your blood sample, all that stuff. And you asked me to believe that you're not the culprit. The evidence, which is factual, states otherwise. I have to go with the facts. I can't go with what.
Sir Chris, if you're gonna ask somebody to believe something, and you need any semblance of grace from that person for the person to give you the benefit of the doubt and believe you, then what you're gonna ask the person to believe must at least make sense. If it makes sense even without evidence, the man might give you the benefit of the doubt. If it makes sense and you have good character and good character references on your behalf, they might give you the benefit of the doubt if it makes sense. But you can't ask me if you believe someone snake in that park and then kind of something there and somebody must just believe you. Sir. The thing have to make sense. If it makes sense, I might give you the benefit of the doubt if it makes sense. And I'm not unreasonable. I don't think I'm unreasonable in taking that position. That no, we can't give you the benefit of the doubt on this thing, because it don't make no sense. Not only does it not make any sense to me, it don't make no sense to you. Why should I believe you when you have yourself can't? It doesn't even make sense to you. What kind of idiot am I?
Yeah. The question would be then, Certi, you would ask them, say, do you believe yourself?
Certi.
Yes, sir.
All right. Man, then bring us some fictional characters as youth and youth. We all grew up some cartoon. The man a fly in the sky, Superman, and others, right? Now them say
Wonder Woman
Superman.
and all these guys.
Yeah, but me I talk about the flying. The flying particularly, you have some of them can fly, right? Now check levels. Them say Jesus walk on water. Now you and I, when we were children, them could have feed us that thing because we were in our infantile stage of all things, and so our imagination run wild. So we imagine I'm gonna walk on water. Remember, we see man fly upon cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
All right. We start grow, we start mature in our understanding, and we go to school and we learn what mass what density is of an object, what mass is, and we start understand gravity. So based upon what we've learned, the logic behind any kind of um, matter, we realize that, and we realize that we've established that here on Earth, gravity is a thing. It's a law. Someone look at it as that, but we now know that it's a law. And then you're gonna come now and tell me, say, Jesus who walk as a man, flesh and blood, have bone in him body, and all him something there. He never did yet, him never in him glory according to what say. Him come as a man, born out of a woman. Him walk on top of water. Now, who them tell you that and out of fear and of looking different or sounding different, we don't question it because we believe in the supernatural at the time. People, a lot of them still do. But prove to me no, show me another man who can walk on water. Matter of fact, they even go that far. Show me another man who can turn water into wine. Water, literal water into wine. Show me these great things that happen according to the writings. What we know versus just like what you guys were talking about the judge and going before the judge with the evidence and so is where you can prove. You see what I'm saying? So the supernatural happenings that were written in the Bible, nobody has seen any of that anymore. But we know, say, if you try to walk on water, you'll sink. And the only way you float is if the density of the water, the density of the, like for example, I can tell you that I cannot walk on water, but when I went to the Dead Sea or the Salt Sea over in Israel, overlooking the Jordan, and the land Jordan, not the river Jordan. That water you literally will float on top of the water. It doesn't mean that a part of you isn't submerged, but you can lay on that water like you're laying on a waterbed. The fact of the matter is you are unable to actually sink to the bottom of the water. Let's bring science into it again. It is the density caused by the mineral deposit in the salt sea that causes you to be unable to actually, you have to really struggle to go to the bottom of it, pick up 2 grains of salt or 2 clumps of salt from the bottom and bring up. You see what I'm saying? It goes back to science, but you can't really walk on top of it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
you guys were able to hear me?
Yeah, man. Listen, you have a bunch of
Okay.
background noise.
Yes. But you get the gist of what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, correct. They crying for.
Oh,
Everybody's crying.
yeah, phone.
Hmm?
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, T. I remember.
Yes, sir, Chris.
Oh, but the thing on your phone have background noise.
No, it wasn't my phone. It was a lady.
Yeah, look like Sandra.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point Sir Marlon was making is this. Remember now, when you think about the flying and the walking and water, you know, it is even more possible for a human being to be to fly than to walk on water. Because if a real strong breeze take you up and fling you through the air and fly, you're gonna fly.
Actually.
Exactly. So there's a possibility where you can't fly, even though you won't be doing it of your own volition, but you can't fly. That strong wind can take you up and fling you through the air. But you will not be able to walk on top of water, but you'll be going against the law of density. The law of density will not allow it. Period and point blank. And if Jesus did walk on top of the water, I promise you said the water that it frozen. It was frozen over.
not doing the thing about that one there, sir.
Yeah, man, the only way possibly water have to be frozen. You can't walk on water in its liquid state. Nobody can. Neither him nor nobody at all. Plus,
So when
also,
Peter, so hold on. So when Peter walk out to him there, and when him start lose faith, I hit him with a bad patch. I start
Peter
saying,
is a Peter is a bad patch push out no. I'm gonna say tell us that Peter did a walk on water to him. So Peter find an ice patch and a walk on the ice patch and then him bust through something ice and reach to a thin ice
yeah,
part like
man,
that thing.
I like that one there.
A simple argument that
Yeah, man, it makes sense, man. That's the way it makes sense.
it's the only way, man. It could make sense no other way.
You understand? And it's about what you know versus what they want you to believe. Because it goes against logic, it goes against the laws of just like I said, density, gravity. It goes against all these things that we know to be true. No,
Very true.
no. But you see what I'm saying? They would have to prove all these things. And they're going to have a task of doing that because logic is already in place. You know what I'm saying? So they want you to blindly believe these things and hold dear to it. You know how many people lost their lives through the ages because of this belief system? Because of this. The most lives that were lost is based on religion.
Yes.
And them trying to force it by you.
Every war is a religious war. Remember, the two enemies of unity, is a thing named religion and it's thing named politics. Politics and religion are the two great dividers that divide people. And yes, you easier see a black man and a white man get along than to see a Muslim and a Christian get along. You understand what I say? It's not race. And I'm going to show you the two between politics and religion. The more deadly one is still religion because you will quicker find a man change his political view than a man change his religious view. You will quicker find a Democrat go vote Republican or a Republican go vote Democrat than to see a Christian become a Muslim or a Muslim become a Christian. It not happen.
That's right.
Because there is no fear attached to your political views. There is no fear attached to it. You're not fearful. Say if this election you don't like the Democratic candidate, so you're gonna vote Republican. There is no threat of you of any recompense coming to you for it, even if it don't work out. But there is this great threat if you ever turn away from this thing, brother, and go chat out from the Muslim, are you here? And if you turn from this Muslim thing and not on Christian, no virgin fear, brother.
Man, I'm virgin. So, hey, listen, man.
Now be a joking argument, Well, I would take serious things that make joke.
No, but
Yeah.
check the levels now. So it brings us to the point where you see it's a few people get fed up and realize that every time something happens to me, I need it for myself.
Yes.
As it's a hit and miss with the prayer, It's a hit and miss with the prayer. But when I actually do things to myself, I get results.
That's why I said earlier, I said, them telling in a scripture, say, faith without work is dead. Well, if you want to say faith without work is dead, well, I'm telling you, work without faith is always alive. If you put in the work, you don't need no faith.
Exactly.
Put in the work meaning you do it for yourself. If you do it for yourself, you don't need no faith. Yes. There's an old saying that says if you want anything done properly, do it yourself.
Hey,
Exactly.
I'm gonna find the scripture that talks about that in Hebrews. What's say? What's say you shouldn't have faith? I'm gonna say I can't find it, but there's a reason why it said it because I think it says that faith is like it is a dangerous place to be because you don't move. in terms of being active because you're dependent upon some miracle, so to speak, to happen. You don't learn how to how to move in mind on your own because fear cannot keep you stuck. You know, so
Faith,
it is a
faith is
dangerous
for
place to
lazy.
be.
Faith is for lazy people, man.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm gonna see if
Work,
I find my scripture.
work is for hardworking people.
Well, Sir T, make we put that one in a perspective because we already have the acronym we will work with. Because what we do, we create. We create. This is the work we will put in place. We create the blueprint, that are the creation of it. So we'd
Yes.
have to probably go further and explain it to those, who hear we say that and think say, well, we have said no. Because I feeling as if this happened. So we already create the blueprint, so the whole everything where we envision or want to see manifested. We
It's a
create
leader to the work.
and
It's
that's
a
it.
leader to the work. It's a leader to the
All
work. And
right.
the blueprint,
All
and the
right.
blueprint go leader to the work. That's why I need not, you're getting the, I don't know where you believe now. You already know what you create your blueprint and your work where you go do, you know what you do, and on trial and error, thing. You know what you do.
Yeah, exactly. You know what you're gonna do. It's gonna do it and then where do. Cause nothing now fall from the sky. No. Nothing, no money, no car, no land, no clothes, no. Nothing now fall from the sky, brother. And you're gonna sit down there and wait upon Jesus. And some are gonna get it and some not get it, and one of them not get it. Them are gonna tell them, say, well, brother, sometime you have to exercise great faith, and then another time it's not what the Lord wants for you at this time. Be patient. Man, just scratch your butt from bad boy and go from here and say, yeah, man. That nonsense. Utter rubbish. It's a hit and miss. But when you do the thing yourself, that's when you guarantee success. We see it all the time.
What I also know is that none of these people who say them believe in a God, not one of them don't believe in a God. I am yet
Oh
to
man, I
meet
fear man. I fear them fear hell. I don't
I
believe them
am yet
believe in
to
God.
meet I am yet to meet a human being that has proven to me that he believes in a God. If you did truly believe in a God, the things them where you do, you wouldn't do it. If TD Jakes did believe in a God, he wouldn't end up on a GD party. So he would have known it by the God when believe in a thing can put in your appearance anytime. I'm sure he wouldn't want God
What's
to
up,
get
man?
him down at GD party. So if me truly believe in a God and believe that God can
Yeah, the
come
small one.
anytime, he would not find himself down there. So he not believe in a God. He
Exactly.
knows no God no.
Exactly.
That's why he do what he want to do. Just like how me and you do what we want to do. He do what he want to do because he knows that there's no God fit. There's no God fit to do what damn thing. So he knows that.
And no, he has been swallowed up. Thank you. He has been swallowed up. You
Not that I'm
understand?
saying that,
Because
not that I'm saying anything about Diddy Party,
Mhm.
Coming here, they must not about no children in a Diddy Party. I grew on people who are free more intelligence choose to go there. So no longer if you don't want to go at Diddy Party. Anything you don't want to go, go do, no fine. Me not no problem with it. I am saying if you're a man of the clergy like TDG, you're going against what you say you believe when they don't get. So you're proving to me that you don't believe what you say you believe. And that's all the problem you have with. You don't believe what you say you believe. Because if you truly believe that you couldn't end up down there. Then they must say, well, everybody, look at Eddie Lang. You remember the pastor in Eddie Lang?
yeah, man. Him not
Big
dead.
old bishop. You dead, yeah, man. Big old bishop, man. Rape off one. Not well, not technically, you could have called it. Because him can look at church brother them and sex off. The whole I look at church brother them. Now, if me truly believe in the things, you couldn't do that. If you truly believe, you can't do that.
You see it
You
though.
not believe. You not believe. And that's how I know say the thing not real, because even the people them will say them believe it. When you look on them like yes, they don't believe. So why should I believe it?
You see, these guys, and hey, Certi, you're 100% correct. You know, all the Creflo dollar, the Kenneth Copeland, and all of them know
They don't
say
believe. They know say no God no
the stop religion things are fraud. So them say, you know what? We just capitalize on this thing, you know.
there.
Them just capitalize on it because there's nowhere if them should talk about the scripture, the same scripture. There's nothing in it that supports what them are doing. Nothing in it that supports what they're doing. What them
Man,
do, them flip the script. Huh?
if they truly believe in a God, they would not be fleecing the flock. They wouldn't be ripping off the people them for money. If they truly believe that there's a God who will provide for his priests, which them say they are the priests, if they truly believe that there's a God who will provide for them, then they would wait patiently for God to come out to come through for them, and they wouldn't be canning or ripping off the little poor people them where they have around them. But the mere fact that they have to go after the money by all whatever means necessary, you have a panel by the Bible, by the ballot, by the bullet, by the gun, by whatever means necessary, they must go after it. If they truly believe that there's a God who is going to stand up for them and provide for them, they would patiently wait. But they don't patiently wait because they know there's no God coming through. So them go there and
What
go get to them one.
what do you call this thing when you lie to yourself to believe the lie where you tell? What do you call it? Is there a thing for it? Meaning,
It's a delusion.
yeah, because these guys, Creflo Dollar, Kenneth Copeland, these guys, when Kenneth Copeland buy a plane, or 4 or 5 plane Kenneth Copeland have, avid pilot, of all him ratings, him could have probably fly, maybe in the younger years, he must have military pilot or whatever it is.
Doesn't he
You
have
understand?
doesn't he have his one ear stripping and backyard out of
I'm
Texas
one
there?
year stripping him back in Manchester, Texas, or Tennessee, or wherever I live. Creflo see that now, and Creflo decided to say more than $65 million plane, and he got to get it because the work that the Lord has called him to do requires that he doesn't need to be stopping in the airport. And remember, this are public knowledge, you know. We see the video, we saw the
Yeah.
video. And him need and him to plane cost 65 million, and him need to get it, and him go milk the people milk them, and him get the plane. You understand? So God tell you figure rob poor people pretty much, so him can get a plane.
Yeah,
He can everywhere.
till my man will see them I get to them playing and decide they want one too. Team one end up killing.
Oh, Miles do the same thing. I don't not even know that.
Oh yeah.
See, even some of the ones who possess a level of wisdom still get caught up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But it's all, just like you said, it's all a delusion. It's all a facade. And if people don't get me wrong, you know, I know if people wake up from the nonsense still, you know, because they realize that this thing can't right. So they look otherwise. I see them all the time. You know, people who come straight from religion, Christianity, Hebrew Israelite. I don't know if I've ever seen a farmer Muslim still, but because some religions strong, them more strong, you know. You know what I'm saying? But it boils down to the individual. So at the end of the day, we all know when something is off. We all know when something is off, but the fear of looking different, sounding different, the fear of being the one person or everybody who don't understand what, hey, you remember when we used to be in school, right? I remember when we probably in a math class or even physics class or whatever it is. And the teacher, let's use maths, because maths might be the most, the best subject to use in this. And the teacher might teach a concept. And him or her might run through it very fast. And by the time the teacher asks, does everybody Is it clear? Does everybody understand? And most of the class I say, yes, sir.
And you don't understand, you say yes, sir, too.
And you don't understand. Instead of you say, boy, I'm gonna get it to no teacher. Sir, I'm
You
not really
don't,
get
yeah,
it.
man, you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look like the odd
Exactly.
person.
You don't want to look like a slow.
Yes.
So guess what? You sit down and don't say anything. That is what is happening with a lot of people right now in these
Speak if you
mainstream
speak up.
religions. Eh?
Speak if you speak up. And so you don't get it.
Exactly. But that I read to this day, that's what's reaching a lot of people in religion. In mainstream religion, them afraid to look different. I sound different. I look stupid. I look like them not have faith. I look like them not have a connection with God. You understand? Very few leave it because they realize them can't stomach it no more. You know what I mean? So the end of the day, really and truly, all this knowledge lies within you. And for you to wake up to it, to remember. And you have different markers and pointers. And even people. You remember Neville referred to Abdullah as, did he not refer to him, correct me if I'm wrong, as one of the ascended masters?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Right. I think Abdullah told him that he agreed to come back remembering and never agreed to come back forgetting.
Forgetting, correct.
And he said he was waiting for him. He said 6 months late, right?
Yes.
All right. But look at Neville and look at the work that Neville did and look at how many people have remembered and are still remembering based on that. So that's why I'm look one time and say, I find even the Bible itself to be one of those that, because no matter what them are using for doing, Sir T, me and you and Sir Chris can use a Bible there and wrap rings on them, Not to brag
Yes.
and boast.
Like I said, the Bible is a valuable tool in the hand of the right workman. The Bible does not belong in the hands of unskilled,
Workers.
people. No.
A true man.
The Bible they will destroy you. That better you leave it alone if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like any weapon, right?
Exactly, like any weapon.
Like any weapon. I mean, if you don't know for angle a samurai sword, you're not gonna cut off yourself. You're not a samurai.
Me tell you already what fish hook.
That's what I call it.
Me
Samurai
tell you
sword.
already what fish hook can do with the Uzi dump on the aliens, Fish hook have the Uzi dump on the aliens, and she try fire and the Uzi jam.
Kick.
She jam, yeah, so the whole away, all away the aliens standing in a straight line, horizontal, not but still we standing at fast, in a straight line because we're all firing on our targets in front of us. And fish hook, the gun jump on fish hook and fish hook turn, set to Carpal Simit said the gun now fire. So now when she turns, she's turning the gun for everybody with the two are left in. And as soon as she turned, I said, sir, the gun not fire. You see, she could have said fire in the gun just, and so when the Uzi go off, to spit them out fast,
Yeah, man.
The Uzi just go off and start spit them out, brother. Mr. McKing Carpal Smith is a killer with again.
God.
Dangerous weapon in the hand of an unskilled apprentice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's the Bible and religious people. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Perfect analogy. Love it.
Remember, people use a thing named Bible and key, Remember, we are grew up. They have a thing with them. Forgot
money.
the word. Right. Bible and key. You understand? Listen, man. People use that book to manipulate, to coerce, to violate people, to slaves obey your masters because it is right in the Lord. And them use that to keep our people docile and under siege. You see what I'm saying? So that statement we just made a while ago is a very, very true statement. You understand? You cannot have everybody wielding that thing. You know, it's so funny, you know. I think I'm more over a year now, nearly 2 years now. I put a post on TikTok about that same thing, you know. Say the Bible, about that same thing. I never said it exactly. You said it a while ago, but it's pertaining to the same thing. It's me I did. To understand the Bible, you have to already be spiritually awake. You understand? The Bible will make more sense to you when you're spiritually awake. But if you read the Bible and you're not awake spiritually, they're gonna fall short.
It's out of confuse you further, man.
Yeah, man.
It's out of confuse you further. When you're already your eyes are already open and then you read it. Now you start see some things where you would have never seen that if you were reading it while you're in another in your sleeping state. You have to wake up first.
Because we're going, if we even should have focused on even the contradictions. You see me, I did that will take we another that can take we all day into the another one, into the next. If we should focus on the contradictions, the same Bible that them say the Bible does not contradict itself. It does. It does. There's a lot of inconsistencies in the Bible.
It is inconsistent and it contradicts itself if you view it from a natural standpoint. If you view it from a historical, literal standpoint, then there's a lot of contradictions in it. But if you see it simply as mind, there is no contradiction. Because everything that he's talking about is mental. So you're gonna realize that
exactly.
There's no contradiction.
No, right. No, absolutely. And that is how we know that the claim that they're claiming the Bible to be the book of God and whatever it is and all of something, and the ordained book, whatever, is nonsense. Because what you're gonna understand is that you're gonna read some stories. Like, for example, there's a story in Matthew that talks about Jesus said, love thy enemy as thyself. And I think one of the other book them say, bring men of them come murder them.
Yes.
You understand?
No, but Jesus himself, guys, so God will tell me, say, me must love my enemy as myself. And then why am I doing team enemy? Team enemy is a virgin name, Satan. What kind of example? It would be like me, I look for my son, them and I tell them, say, don't thief, and every day them see police are call at me because me a thief. Oh, God is telling I say, I must love my enemy as myself, and at the same time, he not forgive team enemy.
Exactly. Imagine, and them tell you have free will.
Satan is unforgivable, man.
But the free will really free like
Satan makes everything.
Satan, and God create Satan. So why never get rid of Satan when you realize that Satan will corrupt the place?
Doesn't God have the power? Doesn't God have the power to do? Isn't God all powerful? Isn't that one of the properties of God, and that He has the omnipotent, meaning that He's all powerful? Doesn't God have the power to make Satan, to turn Satan into a good boy? Doesn't God have the power to make Satan become repentant and become a good boy and never ever do evil or contemplate evil ever again? Doesn't God have the power to do that?
Based on observation, no.
Yeah, so why doesn't He do that?
Exactly.
That means he's enjoying what Satan is doing.
Exactly. How else can you explain it?
If you have the power to change something and decide not to change it, that means that you are in satisfaction with what's going on. Because you have the power, you have total monotony, you have total power right now where you can change it immediately and change it now you can never go back again.
Why would you not strike? Why would you not strike a man who's raping a 6-month-old baby girl, a grown man? Why wouldn't you strike him, kill him dead, right then and there? Why would you allow that? You see what I'm talking about?
Okay.
That is crazy, and they come up with all kind of explanation. Well, there's a time, there's a time and place. At the end, all man should come to his own come to judgment, and those shall go to the lake of fire and all of something there. but yet still little baby girl dead. Eh? Little baby girl dead because this big man with him nasty self violate a little precious little child. Eh? And nothing is done about it. Him probably get away with it and get away with it. Can nobody never find him and go live a long, luscious life. Eh? Why never strike him? Because you're God. You see, these things just don't make, and that's why you see we could never go back to that nonsense. We'll try to find another word, but never say nonsense. You understand?
Do you know that this thing called free will, where you can start about, which by the way, that it's not a biblical terminology. There's nowhere in the Bible from cover to cover that ever mentioned God ever giving a thing named free will to nobody. Not like that then, not exist. But do you know that when you think about free will, you know that the only being described in scripture, and also in our if you include our reality that we live in, the only being that has ever had any free will in the scripture or in our reality is the God. God is the only one that has free will. What is free will? Free will means that you have the potential to will anything that you desire into being with no consequence. That's what free will is not. Only God alone in the scripture, only God alone can do it. God can kill off any amount of people he want to kill. He can kill off the whole world in half explain himself. He can do anything he want when there's no consequence. Now him alone have free will.
Yeah,
What kind of free
now
will?
go get space between
What,
before
yeah,
I
what
try
kind
be
of
now.
free will? The most man have free will. All right. Find for a man we have free will and tell me when is he free to do anything when he want to? Which man you know that? All right, let's say I choose to use my free will. To say my free will, I choose to not believe in your God, and I also choose to not go to hell. I'm free will, me I use it. How come I have the free will to not believe in your God and not go to hell neither? How come I don't have the free will to remain on this earth forever and not die? Since me have free will. Now God alone gets to live forever and don't die.
Exactly.
Him alone have free will. So when you're gonna use this excuse, say, well, it's man that chose to do this because man has no free will.
But why not talk to them these days? Why stop talking to people?
Because he ain't talk to nobody from before I lied and tell that he can't talk to nobody. It's as simple
100%
as that.
correct.
It's just as simple as that. He doesn't talk to us now because he never spoke to anybody before. I lied and did that. It's as
Because
simple as
there's
that.
no him.
There's
Pure
no
sense.
him.
Thank you. People need to forget that.
God talked to
People need to
Moses
forget
in
that.
such God talked to Moses in such detail. Yet him can't say a single word to me.
Exactly. Exactly. What kind of
Yeah.
nonsense is that? And you want to believe said this did happen in
Yeah,
a real
man.
life.
I mean, must be as faithful to you as Moses was. How can I be as faithful to you as Moses when you and him used to talk and you're not talk to me?
Exactly. And why you send somebody come tell me? You send a message to somebody. You make me just like you make the other person.
Okay.
Why you send a message to somebody to come tell me say, God is telling me, God said, walk to that brother and tell that brother he's going through something. I don't know what it is. Tell that brother it's going to be all right. It's always a message that's going to
Yeah,
tell you
it's
it's going
gonna
to be
be
all
all
right.
right.
Tell me something more personal. Tell me, say the moon me a weird pan from Western Union I come. Tell me, say my
Yeah.
sister was sick in the hospital from cancer or whatever it is. She's going to pull through. Tell me something and blow my mind. Convince me, say I really, because you tell me some generic stuff. God
That
says it's going to be
anybody
all
can
right.
tell me. God says it's gonna be
Exactly.
all right. So what that mean? Anybody God says it's gonna be all right. Especially when you tell me something then it not turn out all right.
Exactly. So you see me, man, listen, my brother, man. Listen, me. Nonsense, man. Talk to me too, if you're real. Let me know. Why you keep malice with me for? Why you keeping malice with me?
There's no such being in existence, brother.
Thank you, sir. You understand? No such being. None. And that is what is hard for a lot of people to fathom because of fear of not being anywhere, belonging to anything. are having any semblance of what they call salvation, they make them so far off that the fear of death, not understanding that you cannot die. The body will be no more at a time, just like every other thing on the face of the earth. You understand? But you cannot create or destroy consciousness. You cannot create and destroy, you know what I mean, energy. But you see, them don't get a chance to learn these intricate things and stop fearing what we know as death. They don't realize that they must live this experience and experience it the best way possible. Have it make good impact and vibrate high. You understand? Have this experience. And then when it's over on this realm, then you move on to the next. Don't worry about wherever the next is. We just know that you cannot destroy what is within. It's just the outer part, the shell. They don't get a chance to learn this, just like how we never get a chance to learn this at that time. But guess what? Just like how we get pulled out and thing, and you know how we get pulled out? And not necessarily somebody pull we out against the will. It is what is already the call to us. Me,
Yes.
you, Sir Chris, everyone who's on this line right now, and others out there who we haven't met yet. It is always something that they have been questioning forever until something came along and them say, you know what, I'm tired
Yeah,
of
man,
this. It's too
the answer come.
exhausting.
You've been asking questions and the answer come, man. And the question brings forth the answer.
There you go.
And the question brings forth the answer. There can be no answer without a question.
Hey, thank you. I like the way you put that. Because it's exhausting. It is exhausting to pretend.
Yeah, we have to do the very thing. Remember, said one of the first law of religion is now that you should not question anything. And that is the first thing that you must turn around and do, is question it. Question it. Because when you question it, if you question it long enough, the answer is gonna come. You have to question things. You have to question things that don't make sense. You can't just accept something because, well, God can do anything. But what do you mean? What kind of answer is that? Well, God can do anything.
Generic answer, man. That's a generic answer. Understand?
When people say that thing, I think they are in some way they are setting God free of responsibility when they say God can do anything. No, that make me hold him more responsible. If God can do anything what he want to do, so why don't he heal this world of everything that is going on? Why does he make the wrong right? If the if there's problem in the police force of Jamaica, problems going on in the force, corruption, all kind of things going on, and you come to me and tell me that the commissioner can do anything he want, I start to hold him more responsible. Because if he can do anything he wants, so why doesn't he want to make this thing right? He can do that.
Sure, remember, look at sister, a Boston, our son, he's dead now. He died at maybe 21, but he started going blind from about 10 years old. By the time he reached 12, coming up, and fully blind. He had a brain tumor growing so much it pressed on the frontal lobe and the nerves where control the vision or whatever it is. But damage to that whole thing. He did a surgery and to minimize the mass and whatever it is, and it came back, same I was target. She seizures and everything there at a regular.
Yeah, the lobotomy went bad and he get that's what
Exactly. So guess what now? He eventually declined and thing. And I met Jason and thing, and you know what I mean. At the time I was still in the Israelite movement and thing. And I see him grandmother pray for him. I see people come from the grandmother church pray for him. I say me pray for him and thing. And when we tell us my prayer strong in the man, I'm say my prayer strong in that way from a religious perspective, heartfelt on my heart tonight, 100%, But guess what? Me try to pin for one God nice guy to come through. Just like the rest of them. So saying me I did Hebrew Israelite and me know my true identity at that time. That was no consolation to an awakened mind. Jay died.
No. Yeah.
Jason died. I have another little sister right now where come from the Israelite assembly and things. A little grandson, little boy, a 6-year-old, little boy have cancer all over him lungs, and he's gonna die. He needs all over his body, lungs, him spleen, him organs. He had to be on I think the machine. Them call it if they want to do not resuscitate. Do not is that the term? Not.
Yeah, DNR, yeah, do that
Yeah. Right. So when him finally go, them not gonna try to bring him back. But he had to have that machine. So them take it off him, and them did I pray for a miracle. They kept praying. And they kept praying and they kept praying. I see little boy there in the part of decline. You know what I'm saying? No. I say all of that to say this. Why? You keep praying and hoping, not realizing, say nobody is coming from the sky to fix the situation. None.
So you did a prayer and a work, man. Go find one different doctor, one better doctor. And top
Find one herbal, look for your key awaken, man.
Herbalist.
Yeah, man.
Find. In other words, stop what you want.
Try that.
You want super force from somewhere you do not know. You do something. Do everything
Exactly.
that you can do.
That's what I say. Because listen to me, no man. Listen to me, no man. Knowledge is key, no man. Knowledge is key. The man them get rid of Dr. C, but they can't him did not do too much. He was doing the most. I see I can't awaken there now. Me always say to myself, say, some I forgot have some goons around him for protect him though. Because them you from the streets and things. So I mean at the end of the day, the man I do some serious things. The man get him doctorate and also he's now Dr. Raphael Elohim. You see me at the man I do some things, brother. So I'm saying, seek out a youth like that. Tell him what is going on. It make him figure it out and find the right herbs. Try that. You tried medicine. You tried God. And none of them no work out. Try, I mean, I'm talking about the try pharmaceutical medicine, you try God. And none of them no come true for you. But try somebody else, man. Try a herbal one where and the spirituality and the elements of the earth and them something, Give the youth a chance. When you still wait on God and when God don't come through, you say, boy, God just gave him to you start make up things in your head now. God gave him to us for a time to show us that our time is short while we live it. So he was a blessing at the same time. And then make up something to make you feel good and pacify you. Because there has to be an explanation why God allowed that. You see me I say? They always do this. They always do this, man. There has to be an explanation why the little youth come and live 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and think, touch your heart and touch your life. And then he didn't come here to stay. He came to carry a message. His life was based on a message from God. Why am I go through all of them something they know to make you fall in love with your youth and them something I want to just to take him away? Really and truly, him not do no favors. This what kind of message him did even send so him couldn't just call me on the phone and tell me I come down in the form of a man or an angel. Just like in the Bible them say. And the angel of God came to Daniel, and Daniel fell on his face because the angel is so bright, the light was so bright and brilliant and all them things. And the angel said, why do you bow before me? Get up. Eh? Come on, man. Ain't nobody see that stuff happening no more. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, man, that's why it's important this work we are do and thing on the platform of TikTok and wherever we ourselves. sometimes you never know who to read. Sometimes you might find, say, maybe 2 or 3 persons like your thing, but you never know out of that 2 or 3 people there who look at your thing, who might have reposted it and think, you don't
Oh,
know how far that one person is gonna bring this thing to and awaken many. That one person could awaken 1,000 when you only awaken that one person by your message. So in truth and fact, you awaken 1,001 people. You see me a doing, and that how you do to bring them back to remembrance. You see me a doing.
amazing.
So at the bottom line, that man,
Well, we will continue to sound the trumpet. Sir Chris, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here now. I just touched the road.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
All right.
we have some work to get done.
What is it? It's almost 1 o'clock, you know. So if you're done, we can close it out. Guys, I gotta run you now.
Say again, certain?
No, I'm saying if you're done, we can close it out now, cause I gotta run you now.
Yeah, man. Gonna close it out and post the recording in a room as soon as we settle. All right. But yeah, man, wonderful discussion, guys, as always. And we will be back next week again to talk of the things on another topic of these biblical stories. All right. So enjoy the rest of the Sundays, guys, and we'll convene next week. All right. So y'all be well. Love you all.